Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of We Should Have Recorded That with Phil and.
Adam,
Hey, Adam, how's it going?
it's another episode, Phil.
Yeah, it's another. We're going to a do over,
A do-over
a
episode. Your
redo.
audience, we actually recorded an episode last week for you. We weren't lazy,
Yes,
but the technology gods aligned against us.
they did. They did.
Phil, you still seem perturbed.
It's you can't. You think you have all your bases covered, and then you're like, nope.
Hmm.
Because I was trying to do the right thing. I was saving it, and then my computer crashed, and then it was corrupted. But so today we're gonna record a shorter version of a more focused version of what we did last week.
Uh,
Hopefully,
Phil, don't promise something we
okay,
cannot guarantee.
all right.
Yes, a more focused version. Focus and I aren't really things that go together.
No. Yeah, I have seen you focus, laser focused. I've seen that from you. But before we get
But have you
into
seen that from me on this podcast?
I mean, no, yeah, I have. But before we get into the episode, dear listeners, we want to hear from you, and we enjoy hearing from you. I am glad that some of you were ready to click the play button when we started back recording. And so if you have thoughts or questions, or if you have just a comment like you don't like what we're saying, please share. You can make a voice recording to share with us.
Ooh. Ooh. Now I'm scared. Someone's going to send us a voice recording that's a rant about how horrible we are.
Well, the thing about it is, like, we can share it or not share it. So then, like,
Yes, that's right, dear audience. Every
no,
last
no.
person listening to this just utterly adores us.
Yes, and so I'm sure that person does not exist. Who that ranting person does not exist out there. But you know what? So like we are getting ready to go back to school. We're both teachers. We're getting ready to go back
Yes,
into
we
the
are.
classroom, and and as we are thinking about that, we are still seeing articles of people, you know, being affected by COVID, and that's kind of what we wanted to. That's what we want to talk about today. The fact that we had thought we were, over the hill. We were going down the hill, like
Mm,
smooth sailing, and and now we're, back at a scary place again. So,
yes. How does that make you feel, Phil?
I mean, when I think about it, like the fact now that we're seeing more cases from um, people under the age of 18
Mm-hmm.
and younger.
Yes. Yes.
Like, one, I'm concerned for the children, but
Mm-hmm.
also concerned for teachers who are going into the classroom, and we're not able to, vaccinate all of the students. Like in elementary school,
Right.
none of the
Right.
students are vaccinated.
Right. Right. They
Um,
can't be.
they can't be vaccinated, and so, um, you know, I'm just more so concerned, and when I think about my baby girl, it's just like she couldn't tell me, like she can't tell me right now what is wrong, what would be wrong with her,
Mm-hmm.
and so yeah. How about you? How are you feeling?
Frustrated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I was just really looking forward to a normal year.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I was really looking forward to making music in a more normal fashion.
Mm-hmm.
And instead, I'm collecting orders for singers' face masks.
Mm.
Um, and it's just not fun.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm
The
frustrated.
Take your time. Take your time.
Well, no, I mean, since we are having this conversation over again, Phil, it may
Mm-hmm.
be difficult for me to recapture some of the rawness that we recorded it with the first time. So I'm not going to like try to artificially
Of
recreate
course. No, no, don't.
that frustration, but I will just say what I said when, between you and me
Mm-hmm.
last week.
Mm-hmm.
I blame. I divided the world into three groups.
Mm-hmm.
The first group was unvaccinated people who went about our business and followed public health guidelines. I do not blame those people. The second group are unvaccinated people who, for whatever reason, chose not to get vaccinated but continued to adhere to public health guidelines like physical
Mm-hmm.
distancing, not being in groups, and masking at all times indoors. I don't blame that second group either. It is the third group, the unvaccinated, who
Mm-hmm.
pretended to be vaccinated and walked around in the midst of vaccinated people without their masks, without physical distancing, in large groups, in crowded restaurants. That is the group I blame.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know. Did you freeze?
Phil, I'm
Dramatic
done.
pause.
You had to
Dramatic
talk now.
pause.
You have to talk now.
Okay. I thought you froze because I'm like, I'm waiting on Adam to say
Oh, no,
something.
no, 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 no. I just,
But,
you know, yes. When you're
well,
saying something for the second time,
yeah, yeah,
you,
yeah, yeah.
you know,
I get you.
you just, yeah.
A
Okay.
little more low key. But I mean, that kind of, I don't want, I guess, yeah, we're trying to like recreate, but we're not going to be false. But yeah, what it made me think about, what you kind of were saying made me think about is um like maybe like we are like what you said, who the people to blame, but also like the people who are responsible. And like it's just very frustrating to me, especially when I think about my home state and
Mm,
of Alabama. And it is one of the least vaccinated places in the country. And there are
mm-hmm.
people who are um, in the ICU asking for the vaccine.
It's
And
heartbreaking.
it's very heartbreaking. It's very heartbreaking. And then you have politicians who go to the state and they're not I'm sorry, like we talked about this last week, not trying to ascribe motives, but um I just can't. What other reason would you have to go to a place and be so proud that their people are unvaccinated and they're
Mm,
going into the hospital for it. you
yes.
know they're going into the hospital
Yes.
and people are dying. And so like for me, i I want I want to blame our politicians who are
Yes.
not following the science, who are not um who are just not practicing common sense. You know,
Yes.
I want to
As
blame
we
them.
said as we said last week, as
Mhm.
dangerous as it is to ascribe motive to another
Mhm.
person,
Mhm.
it seems obvious that uh, winning the 2022 or 2024 primary is a much more powerful motivator for some of these politicians
Yeah.
than saving the lives of their constituents.
Yeah, it's crazy. And I want to point out something you said, that it definitely is as a partisan thing. Like you want to be the person on the, like they, it seems like they want to be the person on the other side. And I think this, if at any time there's a time to be united, for something or against something, it's right now.
Yes. Yes.
It's right now. I mean, that's what we need. Unity is what we need right now. And so like I want to blame the politician, but then I think I have, like, one of the other things I think about is personal responsibility. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm an adult, and so I can listen to the politician, or and I can follow them, or I can consider what they're saying, but I don't have to take it wholesale. And so I think that the personal responsibility is important too. I wanted to point that out this week, that we have to weigh these issues ourselves and make up our minds, and we want to make informed decisions.
Yes.
With the best information that we have.
Yes.
So, and then lastly, we could say, like, the other thing that I thought about as we're trying to recreate this conversation is, so if it seemed awkward to you listeners, it's definitely awkward to us.
Yes. Dear audience, here's something you can help us with. We don't need you to comment about this, but just write us a note and tell us whether we should have just moved on to a different topic for this week instead of trying to re-record last week's conversation.
I think we may be able to answer that one. I think we may be able to answer that. But we're doing okay. We're doing okay. The last thing, I'm trying to keep us within 15 minutes here. So the last thing I thought about was, like, again, what we talked about earlier, and what should move the Christian, what should motivate the Christian is a love for neighbor. And the fact that, even if you're not sure what the exact right thing is to do, like, what is the best thing to do? Like, how can you best love your neighbor? And like you said, at the top, like, there are guidelines. If you don't want to get the vaccine, there are still things you can do to love your neighbor.
Yes. Amen.
There are still things you can do to love your neighbor. And so, like, what is motivating you? Is it, Paul, he ended, he really, the pinnacle of what he shared, I think it was with the Corinthians, was that we're supposed to have, our love for our neighbor is supposed to be supersede our desire for freedom and liberty.
Yes.
It's supposed to be our love for our neighbor every time.
Yes.
Every time.
Yes. The weaker brother, the weaker sister.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Always have them in mind.
And something else that came to mind as we're kind of wrapping up is that we, again, thinking about the fact that maybe there are some people who may not be able to get the vaccine for whatever reason.
Yes.
And so, I mean, like, we want to be understanding that there are some people who, that for them it is medically not possible, for them to get it. And a lot of those people have not come out of their homes since all of this has happened. And so, again, like, how can I love my neighbor? How can I love my brother? So, my sister too.
Yes,
How can I love
exactly.
everybody?
Well, that is a challenge,
Mm-hmm.
and um, we can all live with that challenge in mind.
Yes, 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 we can. To end this, I think what should center us and be the foundation is Christ's love for us. How did He died for us, and as our brother, we just let's just be like our big brother, in
Mm-hmm.
loving our neighbor. So I think I guess we did it. We made it.
Dear audience, forgive us. We will try not to have any more technical difficulties
We
so
will
that
try.
you don't have any more supremely awkward re-conversations to listen to.
Yes, we will try.
And with that, I'll say bye for now.
Adios.